Welcome back to Doll Talk with ScorchedEarthToys at InTheMoon.com. Today we're looking at the Toynami, PopBox, Hikaru, and Max 1/6 scale action figures released in November 2006 and September 2007 respectively. These toys retailed for $79.95 US. While you'll have to hit the secondary market to find them today, you can shop for Robotech, Acid Rain, Transformers, and more at Big Bad Toy Store. Click through my campaign link in the comments below to find today's hottest releases and support this channel. The boxes for these toys have a nice matte finish and a flip-top lid secured by a spot of Velcro. The cardboard is very thin. My Max box was thrashed in shipping, but the toy survived. Inside the flip-top lid, you'll find a full-size patch and dog tags for either character. Unfortunately, there isn't much in the way of accessories for the actual figures. The Hikaru figure only comes with a loose grip hand. He has a saluting hand already installed. Max comes with both loose grip hands installed and comes with an optional right salute hand and a pair of fists. The lack of accessories or doll stand were pretty major bummers, as they could have ramped up the fun factor. Included with the Max toy was a coupon to redeem a free accessory kit consisting of a radiated fish on a stick and a stove so you could reenact the cooking scene in Do You Remember Love. Unfortunately, the kit was never issued, but it was briefly made available through a third party of sorts long after the doors at PopBox were shuttered. Someone more industrious might modify the stove with a flickering LED tea light, but that would take some work. The accessory kit originally retailed for 2,200 yen, which may seem pretty steep, but I kinda love it. Hikaru does come with the one replacement hand, so if I want to remove his saluting hand, we pull the sleeve down. There you can see the line. You could also see how that hand can swivel around and has a pivot. It's a little scary because the fit is so tight on there that it's kind of hard to remove the hand. So I put my fingers up near the wrist and pull away, so I'm not just pulling on that hinge. And then we could take our other hand that came with the toy and pop it in place like so. And there you go. Now he's got his other hand on. Now, if you are replacing the left hand, you'll notice there is a watch. And one thing that did change between versions is the quality of the watch. So here is Hikaru's watch. And it's all right. There's not a whole lot going on with it. It's actually better than the recent Kids Logic watch that we got. But you'll see that Max's watch has a slightly more refined sculpt, and it's got a little bit of detail on the face of it. So there was a slight improvement there from one version to the next. It's crucial that the face sculpt be as accurate as possible on a big figure like this. And I gotta say, I thought PopBox did a great job with the Max figure. You can actually remove these glasses, and I guess a pet peeve of mine would be that they don't really feel like they lock into a particular position, but they look good. This to me looks like Max from Do You Remember Love without a problem. Now there's some minor flashing in the hair. There is a seam that runs through the hair if you look for it, but I still think they did a tremendous job with Max's likeness. Now, Hikaru could be another matter. I think they did a pretty good job. In fact, it's probably my favorite of all the larger figures we've seen so far. Maybe their later version was a little bit better, but I'll let you guys be the judge of that. These toys do have a problem with toppling over, and the crux of that is the feet. So the feet have a swivel right above the foot, and you have the ability to come forward and back at the foot. And there's a little bit of left-right action, but it's pretty minimal. It just seems like looseness in the joints. And the problem is this direction is too easy to move. It should be really stiff, but since it moves so easy, the toy easily topples over. So that's a bit of a problem there. You do, moving up, have a knee joint that lets you get a little bit better than 90 degrees. We have a nice hip that comes forward and back and comes way out, which is how you get those crisscross applesauce seated positions. Forward, back, left, right. So all very good, and you saw that you could twist. You can also twist higher up in the leg. So good leg articulation. There is a waist. The suit's going to try to bring the toy back forward. And if you listen, you can hear the mechanical bits inside. There's a pivot point in the torso. The shoulders have ratcheted forward and back motion as if they were going to hold something heavy, but there are no accessories, so that's a little weird. You can come all the way around, can come out. All good. The only thing that's weird about the shoulder is you can't come straight down along the side of the body, so that can be a little frustrating. Elbow joint, you've seen what the hands can do because they're removable. Then we have forward and back at the neck, left, right at the head, but there is no ball joint to the head. You do have a little slop back and forth, but you can't cock the head. So you can get the toy in some decent poses. Again, its inability to stand very well is going to prove problematic for you unless you go get a cheap doll stand. At 31 centimeters tall, these dolls are huge, and true to Do You Remember Love Universe form, the Max figure is even bigger than Hikaru at over 32 centimeters. So very, very big, gonna dwarf other toys on your shelf. To get that larger Max figure, what PopBox did, or Toynami, was insert a spacer in the leg. And that has the unfortunate consequence of creating floods for Max. You could see his ankles when he's in sort of a normal position here, which is a bit of a bummer. Now, as far as the uniform is concerned, overall, I really like it, but there are a couple little issues that bother me. First, this red piece of fabric, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a pocket, but it's just glued on and it's obvious and it doesn't look great. Then we have the baggy undershirts, which also, you would think that would be skin tight undershirt considering how tight these uniforms are. And then finally, we have the stitching on the logo. That's pretty obvious. I'm not sure how you would really get around that other than making it like rubber and pretending it's fabric. So those were the only real downsides. I'm not sure why there's this emblem on the back. I don't know if that's from some line art, but seems a little silly since it's a veneer thruster when it's on the VF1. But whatever, doesn't bother me, it's on the back. So overall, I think it's a pretty good representation of the flight suit. There's just a couple little niggles that bother me. 1/6 scale anime figures are an odd niche to me. You expect really large toys to have a ton of detail, but anime designs are usually somewhat simple, so they don't need to be rendered this large. There's plenty of room for improvement here, but these were also pretty affordable as far as 1/6 scale figures go. If this type of thing is your jam, there's nothing here that should scare you off. For the more casual collector, 1/12 scale seems a lot more accessible. Sure, the likeness isn't as strong, but you'll get a lot more playability and those figures won't crowd out everything else on your shelf. Subscribe and check out the full article on anymoon.com, and as always, thanks for watching.